Hello. In this example, we're going to take a look at using Excel and if conditions. The way the if condition works, you'll see in my diagram, we have a condition which is usually a comparison that's going to evaluate as true and false, such as a less than, a greater than, or an equal to. And then, based on that true condition, we'll display that, or a false will display what's in the false condition. So let me give an example. In this example here, we look at overtime. In Canada, if you work over 40 hours per week, you're given overtime hours, which is typically 1.5 times your paid rate. So on this, I've got a series of employees, and I want to calculate how many hours of overtime. Normally, you would think that you could do a formula that would be something like equal to the hours of worked take away 40 to find out how many hours are over overtime. In this case here, you see 7. Great. So thinking that that's the way to do it, I'd use a fill handle, and you'll see we get some undesirable rates. We get -3 for Elizabeth, for example, because 40 hours take away 37. We've got -3 hours left that are overtime. She didn't work 40 hours. So that formula is not going to work. I only want to display the hours worked take away 40 if there's more than 40 hours. Aha, did you hear that word I said? If. So this is a perfect example of an if condition. So again, here's the if condition. The syntax is equals, if, and then brackets, the condition, a comma, the value for true, a comma, and the value for false. So watch what I do. I'm going to say equals if my logical test, which is going to be cell B3, is greater than 40. So if I worked over 40 hours, if that's true, I'm going to do the formula, which is B3 take away 40. But if I didn't work over 40 hours, there's going to be 0 overtime. So I don't want to display anything. I certainly don't want a negative value. I want to display 0 for overtime, so I'm just going to put the value of 0. That's the value I want it to display. And now, you'll see using the if formula, I can say if I've worked overtime, if that's true, we'll take B3 and subtract 40. If it's false, we'll display 0. And watch what happens when I use the fill. Perfect. You'll see many employees, especially those that all work less than 40, get a 0. And the couple of times that they did, I get the hours. And so I could easily now use that to calculate a formula that's going to calculate the pay based on 1.5 times for those hours. Another example of where we could use the if statement is a simple grade book with pass-fail. This time, though, I'm going to use a condition, but I don't want to display values. Instead, I want the value to be displayed to be a bunch of characters. The characters PASS, pass, or the characters FAIL, fail. So what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to click on cell C3, and the formula is going to be an if statement. So I say equals if. My logical test is if the grade is greater than 49. So if you got over 49.5 as your grade, that means you passed. So the value for pass is going to be the word pass, and I put that in quotation marks. So this way it's going to display the characters PASS. I put a comma to put a value for false, and the false value would be FAIL, fail, the word fail. And so this will quickly tell me a pass-fail grade book.